And what turns the Easter Rising into such a big deal?
But the crisis was so deep that it seemed intractable, because you had Irish nationalists who would not accept anything other than the entire island under a home rule parliament, and Irish unionists saying, we're not going into a home rule parliament. We want nothing other than rule from Westminster.
Yeah. And then, so it appears to be dormant. And then at Easter 1916, the conflict flares into life with the Easter Rising, which actually, at the time, is very quickly put down by British forces. I mean, a lot of Dublin is sort of reduced to rubble, but the British are able to stamp it out. And the British, I guess, get the impression it's very annoying that this has happened. It's a betrayal at a time when we're fighting the Germans on the Western Front. However, hopefully it's not going to prove a massive deal. And what turns the Easter Rising into such a big deal?
I first of all think that everybody says it's the executions that turned everything. So basically, after the Rising, the people who were involved, there was about 1,000 went out on Easter Monday. By Easter Saturday, by the time it ended, there were probably 1,600 who had been on the street. So it was a really small minority of people who had struck during the war because it presented the opportunity, as they saw it, to rise and drag the people with them.
So England's difficulty is Ireland's opportunity.
Exactly, in the old saw. And that is not what happened, of course, and it was crushed within a very short space of time. And people said at the time that the rebels were mocked and abused on the streets, and that there was incredible resistance to what they'd done, and just disgust, actually. I think that's overplayed. Yes, there was some of that, but there were also other people who were, admired them for what they were doing.
Yeah. So, it's commonly said, isn't it, the Easter Rising, that at the time they're a minority and actually people are horrified by it. And the British think, well, it's not going to be that big a deal. It's annoying. It's a bit of a betrayal at the time we're fighting the Germans on the Western Front. But of course, it does turn out to be a landmark moment. And so what changes? What makes it so iconic?
So it was, first of all, a minority, and the scale of the minority is extraordinarily significant. It's about 1,000 people went out on Easter Monday, maybe joined by a few hundred more as the week went along. But it's not a mass uprising. And I think when it comes down to it, there are a series of factors which changed perceptions of people as to why people had reacted adversely to it in the city initially during the Rising, although I do believe that that's somewhat overplayed. And it hangs initially on the executions of the leaders.